Get mantra and meditation MP3s at JasonGallant.ca.
Today, let's talk about suffering. And I'm just going to ramble on in my usual way and see if the metaphoric stick that I'm holding here is poking around in the bushes of your ego, and see if we can rustle something out of there. But one trap that most of us fall for at certain times is that we apply the principle of certainty and we apply it in the wrong place. And what I mean by this is that if you're certain and your certainty is taking you to freedom or happiness, and it's this unconditional sort of thing, I'm not talking about the Genghis Khan type happiness where you're destroying all the villagers and you're very certain about how that makes you happy. But what I'm trying to say is that when you're certain about something and it's allowing you to experience your own unconditional freedom, then by all means, that's great. But where certainty can become a very big problem is when you are certain about your suffering and you are justifying it through this certainty. Now again, this is something everyone has done where they feel badly about something or they're experiencing something which is unpleasant. But the truth is that if you are right about this suffering, how's it going? Yeah. There's a dog there sniffing around trying to find out what I'm saying. Yeah. So the truth is that if you are certain about your suffering and certain that you are justified in it, ask yourself, where does this lead? Does it lead you to freedom? Or does it lead you to a never-ending story of suffering? As someone said to me a long time ago, people's patterns or their suffering will defend itself, almost like it becomes its own individual ego. It's almost like a separate entity itself. And it will come up with all sorts of belief systems in order to keep that suffering alive. So if you've decided that your suffering is justified and that's just the way it is and it's never going to go and I'm right about this and I'm always going to feel this way no matter what, then there's really nothing anybody can do for you until you are finally tired of that story. You've outlived its usefulness, or it's outlived its usefulness at some point. And when you finally let go of a story, that is the application of humility. You're saying, yes, I'm experiencing something. And yes, it's unpleasant to my present point of view. But perhaps it's something other than what I think it is. That is the application of humility. It's the surrender to God as God chooses to show up. And then trusting that no matter what shows up, it is the best possible thing. It's the alchemy of God, right? You're mixing God into your experience. You're saying, God, come here, you experience this. I don't have to be right about it, but just I'll allow everything to exist at the same time, perfection and imperfection. Do not underestimate the power of this. I spent many years underestimating the power of humility. And like most, when I first started, all spiritual practices were to control or to do or to make something different. But when you really realize through experiential moments that the blending of the truest part of you with the suffering that you're experiencing, that is how you bring this freedom here. When you realize this, then the game of fixing is not the first priority, the game of controlling. That can become a game that you do here and there for fun, but you never believe that that's the source of your fulfillment and happiness. The source of fulfillment and happiness occurs when the truest part of you collides with reality. And that means no matter what reality is showing you. It's like you're this cosmic asteroid colliding with truth. So, although you might be quite sure about what you like and don't like, sometimes it's a good policy to let that go too and fully surrender to what is happening within you. And a big part of that is not measuring. There was someone in the comments a while ago measuring how good or bad they were in the enlightenment game and measuring whether they were worthy of, some sort of spiritual attainment. Let go of all of those games. These are all just distractions that the mind comes up with to keep you from truly being here. So I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now.
Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.